The most important thing to focus on in my 20s, I think it's a career. Like there are a lot of different answers that will be said about that, but me personally, I think that trying to find yourself through what you want to do with the rest of your life is probably the most important thing.
What is the most important thing to focus on in my 20s? I feel like the most important thing to focus on in my 20s is going to be the most important thing that I'm trying to focus on for my whole life, if that makes sense. So my focus, or what I'm trying to make my focus, is God and following after Jesus and just doing what He wants me to do and being the person He wants me to be. So I think that will always be what I think my main focus should be. But if we're talking about like specifically something that applies in my 20s, finding yourself sounds kind of cliche, but like really focusing on who you are as a person. Like for me, my 20s and like moving to college has been a time where I've been away from parents and like teachers that are trying to tell me what to believe. Like in college, I feel like a lot of professors are more like trying to get you to think for yourself. So I think in your 20s, it's really important to be independent and like just find out what you believe on your own.
Well, I'd firstly say probably graduating college. That's probably my biggest goal right now. But then as far as like for myself, like I want to continue education, which is like a lot of what I know like friends of mine are doing. So I'd probably say like continue in education if that's like your desire, and then hopefully get a job so you have some kind of stability in your life.
In your 20s, I feel like the most important thing to focus on, it's kind of cliche, but I guess yourself, because your 20s are kind of a time where you're setting the foundation for the rest of your life. Like you're getting your job together, you're graduating college, maybe finding a spouse. So I feel like you really need to figure out who you are in that time to build as a basis for the rest of your life.
Probably the most important thing to focus on in your 20s is just finding out who you are. A lot of people, they come out of high school and they're just like, I don't know what I want to do. College is like the place to explore yourself before you get married or have kids or get a job and settle down. And a lot of people, they like try a crazy hairstyle or get a lot of piercings or get tattoos. But the most important thing is just to figure out who you are and what you want to do.
I would say trying new things. I think it's really important in this time of my life, like in this phase, that I explore and I go on adventures, I travel the world, I get an education. I think that's a really important part of this segment in my life, especially since I am on my own.
Personally, or at least in my walk of life, right now, a career is more important.
I think I'd have to say working towards a promising career. And like, I'm a person who really, I really want to get married. But if I get married and I don't have a job and like, God forbid my husband were to die, like, I'm gonna be out of luck, you know what I mean? And I think working towards a promising career, it helps me have a life of my own and be independent, I guess.
I would say probably working towards a promising career. Because what I want to do one day in life is something I've dreamed about for a very long time. And it's something that's like, I'm so focused on doing. It's like my studies are going towards it now. So I wouldn't be opposed if like someone came into my life and be like, hey, yeah, let's have a relationship. But I would still want to be honest with that person and be like, hey, this career is something that I've wanted for a very long time. I've been working for, I've had internships for it. But let's make this work and try to find like a balance between it.
I feel like for me right now, probably finding a career would be more important than finding a spouse. That answer might be different if I were in a relationship right now, like if I were already dating someone, and like I have a lot of friends that are already engaged and stuff. But for me though, I think I'd rather have a career and a solid foundation first and something to build off of.
Working towards a promising career, because people can come and go in your life, and you don't want to spend time on someone who might not be there in a month or like 2 months, but you'll always have something to fall back on, and you won't be dependent on someone else for their money or their time, because you always have something that you can go and do.
I would say working towards a promising career. I do want to get married, but I honestly don't see it in my future for a while, because like I said, I do want to go overseas, and I know it would be difficult to have a spouse, especially if they did not have the same goals as me. So maybe there's someone that wants to do exactly what I want to do and we can do it together. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But at the same time, like, I'd have a lot more freedom in my singleness to go and pursue the international missions. And so for me, it's not something that I'm just really like pining after, like hoping for. I definitely, like, I would love to get married down the line. But right now it's not something that I see in the immediate future.
Hookups, just, I don't agree with them morally, religiously, and ethically, so I don't really have that much of a argue for it.
What is my opinion on hookups? No. Obviously, for moral reasons, like, I don't believe in like having sex before you get married. But from like on a personal level, I feel like it's more emotionally devastating than people give it credit, if that makes sense. Like, I know that like if I were to go around like having sex or hooking up with random guys all the time and then like not have any kind of emotional contact with them, I just think that would be catastrophic for me emotionally, because I know that as a person, I'm somebody who really desires to love others and to be loved, and so like to have that like physical connection and then no kind of emotional connection to be tied with it would just like not be healthy. And I personally don't think it's healthy for anyone, whether they acknowledge that or not.
I think it depends on the situation and the people that are involved in it, because a lot of them can just be like very casual and just be like, hey, we're gonna be friends, it's fine, whatever. But I feel like a lot of them can go very bad very quickly. And I think it's also like what you've also gone through in life. Like, I've had friends who just come out of like relationships and they're like, I just want to go be with like every person, just like have like relationships that like don't mean anything. And I feel like if you're gonna try to have a relationship with somebody, like it should actually mean something. Like, it should better you as a person, it should better them as a person. You should get something out of it. Like, it shouldn't just be like, hi, I saw you on the street.
My opinion on hookups, I feel like that's just like a part of college. I mean, it could be a good thing, it could be bad for you, but I feel like that's just part of college experience.
My opinion on hookups is probably, if you want to do it, do it. I'm not the type of person that can just have a hookup because I like emotional connections with people. But if you don't want to be in a relationship, you don't want to have like a significant other, then live your life and do whatever makes you happy. Be safe about it, but do what makes you happy.
I don't like them. I think it really takes the intimacy out of a relationship.
I think marriage is holy. I think it's a union and it's sanctioned, and I think it's really important. It's not a necessity by all means, but I think if that's how you choose, if you love somebody, that's how you signify that. And I know some people are against labels and stuff, but I think that's really important.
My opinion on marriage is that it's a good thing. I want to get married one day. Like, I'd love to have somebody to like walk through life with and to experience things with. And I think it's a good thing for society in general. Like, I think it's healthy for kids to have two parents to raise them. And yeah, like, I think everybody just desires a companion and like somebody to be with them. So I think marriage is a good thing.
I think that marriage is something that our society puts out there as like this huge social construct. In my sociology class, we actually looked at like the concept between like a white wedding and how like the media portrays it's like this something like enormous and just like this big dream and they just cost thousands of dollars, when in reality it's like if you love somebody, like I don't think you have to have all of that. It's like, yes, like a lot of girls like dream of having that like big wedding one day, but I think that it's something more simple than that. It's like if you love another person, I believe that like you should be able to marry them and you should be able to have that life together.
My opinion on marriage is definitely something I would like to have. I understand that it's not for everyone, but I mean that would be something that would be my end goal.
My opinion on marriage is that it's probably a friendship that can last you for a really long time.
I don't think that you should be married to follow a social norm. I believe that your marriage is your best friend and your partner for life, and so you are going to live life together. And that's what marriage is for, is to have that companion through life.